Hello everyone, this is Byucknah the Red coming to you. Bring it back. Here with a little bit of, I guess, like a vlog. So I know, lack of videos. Don't kill me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. So I want to talk today about something that kind of matters to me. So Blizzard Entertainment. The moment I say that word, I'm sure that there's going to be a big portion of people who are going to come by and be like, oh, yep, nope, I know what he's talking about. Gosh, haven't we had enough of this conversation yet? Nope, apparently not. So, Blizzard Entertainment is a company that I very much love. Like, these guys have been a huge part of my childhood. They recently shut down a private server by the name of Nostalrius, and I just want to put my insight on this. This is not a server I've played on, though in my vast WoW career I have played on private servers before. Usually for the other, like the opposite of what people play all the private servers for nowadays is, I remember back in Wrath of the Lich King I didn't get into the beta, but people had like reverse engineered the beta for Wrath of the Lich King. And so I got on a private server to play a very buggy beta of Wrath of the Lich King, which was cool. You know, it was a different experience, but yeah, so that's something that I did back in my day. I played on a couple interesting private servers, you know, like the ones that's like, oh, level cap 250, how crazy is that? 1,000 times experience, gained like 28 levels in a single kill, and it's like, okay. So I played on my fair share of private servers. This was a bit different though. This was a very traditional vanilla server that the team had actually put a ton of love and care in. Like, they basically preserved the vanilla experience and did a really good job about it. And like, Blizzard recently shut down, and I normally would just be like, okay, well, you know, Blizzard's kind of in their right to shut this down. They have every right to do this, so, you know, whatever. Except for how Blizzard's been acting lately. Like, I keep looking at my audio over here. Except for how Blizzard's been acting lately. I'm on the fence now because I used to really love Blizzard Entertainment, but more and more I'm really hating the path that they're taking with their games and their franchise. It bothers me. It really does. And I don't know. Am I cross-eyed? I don't know, like, so Blizzard's been making a lot of really arrogant statements for the longest time. Basically, to summarize them, Blizzard's been saying, no, you guys don't know what you like. You think you know what you like, but you don't know what you like. We know what you like. And it's amazing that they can have the confidence to say that when they don't even have the confidence to show their subscriber numbers anymore. And they have to make an excuse of saying, oh, well, you know, those numbers, they don't mean anything. You know, it's not a good gauge at how well games... Really? It's not a good gauge at how well a game's doing? No. You're hiding them because you're on a sharp decline. And then you have servers like I can't even say its name. Let me see if I've got it here. Nostalrius. I knew I'd get at some point, and I know what I'm talking about. Like, so Nostalrius is up on an upswing. They were at, 500,000 active accounts and growing each day. Like a private server of people who love the freaking game, going out of their way, putting their own time, sweat, blood, tears, and money into providing an experience that Blizzard says we don't want. That Blizzard says is something that would have no value. That it's a game that's bad, that we don't want the vanilla WoW, that we think we want the vanilla WoW, but we don't want the vanilla WoW. So we have this private server which had 500,000 active accounts and growing, while Blizzard is hemorrhaging, absolutely bleeding subscribers to the point where they're hiding it now and saying, oh, a subscriber gauge doesn't really mean anything. Who are you kidding, Blizzard? Like, seriously, who are you kidding at this point? It's sad. It really is. I was a PC gamer because of Blizzard Entertainment. Like, when I found out about StarCraft, Warcraft 2, Diablo 2, oh my gosh, Diablo 2. They made games for a hardcore gamer, a mature audience of games too. Diablo was definitely a very violent game. Warcraft had its moments. I mean, it may not seem like much to us today, but remember like how gory Warcraft 2 was. Like when units died, they'd like died in a big pool of blood and skeletons. Like for the time that came from, that's pretty violent. Like these were mature games made by gamers, made by mature gamers who knew what they wanted. And I don't know if it's just that Blizzard's become so big that group of founding gamers just has no say anymore, or if that group of founding gamers has just kind of forgotten their past. Because I know, like, what was it, Chris Metzen, his daughter looked at, what was it? Was it Sylvanas or, Alex Straza? One of them is like, why is she in a bikini? Like, why is this character in a bikini? And he's like, that's a good question. Why is she in a bikini? I'm sorry. When did the game's demographic become your 6-year-old daughter? I'm trying to cut down on my cursing in general. I just, no need to just throw out expletives everywhere, but why? Why in the world is that an influencing factor? The stuff that Blizzard's been doing annoys me. A children's book series? Excuse me? Like, World of Warcraft children's book series. What would that even be? King Varian Wrynn and the Sorcerer's Stone? Like, I just... Grommash Hellscream learns the value of friendship, the trilogy? Like, what would even that be? Like, it's so not what I loved about Blizzard. Blizzard games were hardcore. They were tuned for the hardcore audience, the real elite gamers. And as someone who, as a kid, played those games, and is now an adult who works a full-time job, barely has time to make videos, like, you can see how little content I've gotten out. Basically, work just consumes my day-to-day life. As someone who goes through this, I have to say, it's really disappointing. I personally don't have the time to dedicate to even the current rating of the game. I don't have time to dedicate to mythic rating or heroic rating. Before I had a job, I had a rating guild. I did that. It was a lot of time. It was a lot of work. But comparatively to the past, I mean, I didn't have to get flasks, which back in vanilla, if you had a flask, you were rich. I mean, it was really for the top tier of player. I didn't have flasks. I didn't have food buffs. Nothing like that, because the guild provided it to me. Professions are such a joke. And what they make is so commonplace. It's like, you're expected to have them to the point where the guild will give you them for free. Just show up and raid. It's ridiculous. And at the same time, it's a double standard for me. I like the ability pruning. I like the simplified classes. I like the fact that in Legion, they're going back to kind of relook at the class fantasy. But at the same time, I dislike how casualized the game's become, which is, like I said, it's a hypocrisy on my side. I think the biggest thing is I like the simplified primary rotations, but I miss the utility of vanilla WoW. I like the simplified and more distinct classes where you basically like, this is a Rep Paladin, this is a Fury Warrior, this is that. Everything's a lot more distinct. But at the same time, I miss the customization of vanilla WoW. The talent trees, the ability to really build your character the way you want. I mean, I could go back and forth all day on like what I like about current WoW, what I like about vanilla WoW, but that's not the primary focus of this. The primary focus is Blizzard Entertainment have devolved into a bunch of, I don't even know what to call them. They're people who fear social justice warriors, a la the Tracer butt pose removal, which they remove it, there's a huge backlash, and then they basically bring it back as a different pose, because they're too prideful just to put the original pose back in. But I don't know, they buckle under pressure way too much. I want the original Blizzard Entertainment that brought us, you know, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, Diablo 2, StarCraft, and the original World of Warcraft. Up to somewhere around the beginning of Wrath of the Lich King. I'm not gonna lie, Icecrown Citadel. Icecrown Citadel was good, don't get me wrong. The Argent Tournament though, and how long Icecrown Citadel lasted, But Cataclysm and moving forward, like, I don't know. There's a lot of things they changed to the game I didn't like. I mean, to be completely honest, like, back in those days, I listened with great interest to people like Total Biscuit, Jesse Cox, who were doing videos for Cataclysm and World of Warcraft and whatnot around that time. And I actually remember leveling an alt in Vashir when I was listening to Total Biscuit's video of I'm done with World of Warcraft, the game's changed too much. Compared to what the game's like now, I don't even know what Total Biscuit would think of the game now. And I know he doesn't really do much World of Warcraft related anymore, but I still would value his opinion. I would love to know what his feedback is on the current state of World of Warcraft. I would absolutely love to hear that. I don't think I'll ever get to hear that, but, you know, that's definitely insight that I would love to hear. But the game's changed in a way that I cannot appreciate and I cannot like. I just... There's positives and there's negatives. I'd say the biggest negative to modern day WoW is the lack of any sort of community. Blizzard really killed the community with features like looking for dungeon and looking for raid, and the fact that the community can't police itself anymore. Because I remember in vanilla, if somebody were to do something like they were to ninja loot, or they were to be just a giant jerk to someone, like, the community got word fast, and it got to the point where it's like, oh, hey, this guy's a jerk, don't let him into any of your runs. And they were pretty much blacklisted at that point. Character transfers and stuff like that worked way differently back then. In fact, I'm pretty sure you couldn't name change for the longest time. Like, the services weren't what they were today. Crafted gear had much greater value to it. I don't know, I could go on, I don't want to do that, but... So, my primary point with this video is to express my opinion on this as someone who's played World of Warcraft since the beginning, and will continue to play all the way until the game dies, whenever that is. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 150 years from now in the Mayan apocalypse. You know, whenever. But I think that Blizzard's shooting itself in the foot. Blizzard doesn't understand what players want anymore. They've got this delusional sense of we know what players want when in fact they don't. I don't know. So anyway, I want to put this video out. The editing quality is probably not going to be as good as some of my other videos. I'm trying some I'm trying some different stuff with the video editing. Trying some different stuff with the audio editing. Really, this isn't going to be an edit-heavy video. This is just going to be like me rambling. But I just kind of want to get a little discussion out on what I think about the current progression of the game, what Blizzard's done by shutting down this private server, and the fact that they're lying to themselves, and they're lying to us. They're lying to all of us. They're saying we don't know what we want. The fact of the matter is, Blizzard doesn't know what we want. Even though we're screaming at them. We're screaming for this hardcore game to come back, a game that people have to rise to the challenge in. And as someone who doesn't have the time to rise to the challenge, I'm actively I lost the word I want to say. I'm actively fighting to protect that ideology because it was a great game. You had to work hard for it. You had to work hard for everything in that game. And people rose to the challenge. As opposed to today's game, which is literally just everything's an inconvenience. There's no challenge to rise to. It's just, hey, do this and you'll eventually get a legendary through a quest. You'll get a legendary through a quest just for being persistent. You don't have to try hard. You don't have to do real raiding. You can do fake raiding. You can walk through a raid. You can AFK through a raid. That's why I do an LFR. I AFK. I just auto attack the boss, AFK. Nobody knows the goddamn difference. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But there is something I would like to ask you guys. People are walking around outside. I wonder what's going on outside my room. So everything's become a joke now, and that's why I want to make this video, just kind of express my feelings. I felt like this is the right time for it, but there's something else I would like to do. I would like to go ahead and plug a change.org petition that has recently been basically circulating around, and the interesting thing about this petition is that it's being helmed by Mark Kearns, he was a developer with World of Warcraft at Blizzard Entertainment. He's basically saying, hey guys, if you can get this petition signed up to 200,000 people, I will get this document personally handed to Mike Morhaime. Like, this is a guy who knows the other developers personally, and saying, look, you get at least 200,000 signatures, I will personally take this to the big man himself. That to me is pretty awesome. And I would like to see it reach over 500,000 signatures, honestly. And I think it will. For this petition only being up for a super short time. I don't know the actual amount of time it's been up, but for how little time this petition's been up. Stop that phone. For how little time this petition's been up, I think we're gonna see a crazy amount of signatures. And I hope that this is enough to create a ripple, to create a wave at least. I hope this does something. I don't think it's gonna bring the private server back, because Blizzard's in their legal rights to do what they're doing. And if they back down now, I mean, PR-wise, while it's gonna look, hey, Blizzard cares about what we think, it's gonna show that Blizzard doesn't have much of a backbone. But I hope that it kind of gets the idea out there that this is something we want. We want that vanilla experience.